Hello all. The Star Wars sequels are a very rough terrain to traverse, especially online. These three movies are polarizing, and that's an understatement. People tend to lean one way or another on them, and while that's totally normal, it feels like at times that the topic is extra touchy for many to an unusual degree. However, I'm not here to pick one side of the fence and say that you're wrong. Personally, if you ask me, I enjoy all three of the movies in spite of their flaws, but ultimately that doesn't matter to the point that I'm hoping to make. I'm not here to bore you with, here's what they did right, here's what they did wrong. The topic's done to death, and even if I wanted to convince people one way or another, other people's enjoyment, or lack of when it comes down to it, doesn't affect mine. Instead, what I want to talk about is what happens now that they're over. If there's any one thing that I would want to convince you is that when the time comes, give the characters and concepts posed by these movies another try. What, you may ask? To that, I point to the Star Wars prequels. The Star Wars prequels were in the exact same spot about this time 15 years ago, in the aftermath of Revenge of the Sith. Initially, reception to those movies were very, very negative. You can actually find theater footage of the ending of Revenge of the Sith, with people laughing at the sight of Hayden Christensen deep fried. If you were to ask quite a few people in the Star Wars community about this scene nowadays, they'd tell you that it's heartbreaking and emotionally gripping to see a master weep at his mistakes to the apprentice he's failed. So, what gives? How does a set of movies universally panned get such forgiveness? Sure, we laugh at campy B-movies that weren't popular in their day, but it's not just finding amusement in poor dialogue and outdated visual effects. There is real, genuine enjoyment that people find in these movies nowadays. Of course, the generation who grew up on them is older and more vocal, and that plays a part, but I don't think it deserves all of the credit for the prequel's redemption. When discussing the topic, a friend once asked me, "Why do you care about that period in Star Wars? What's special about the era? It's a bunch of bad children's movies." If you really want to boil my answer down to two words, it's Clone Wars. Wonderful creators such as Dave Filoni, Karen Traviss, Genji Tartakovsky, James Luceno, E.K. Johnston, and many more saw the potential in the stories George Lucas told. They filled in the details left out by the movies, but more importantly, they gave us a new view at the universe of the prequels, with different takes on the characters and lending new credence to Anakin's fall. When other authors were able to get their hands on the world George created with the prequels, and when they told wonderful stories, people were willing to give those stories another chance through other mediums. Many people think of Anakin Skywalker as a brave hero because of his portrayal in Filoni's The Clone Wars. General Grievous was given new life in Abel B. Paina's Unknown Soldier, and Luceno's Labyrinth of Evil. And Dooku is a compelling lead in Cavan Scott's Dooku Jedi Lost. There are countless characters given this treatment, and it isn't even unique to the prequels. Minor characters in the originals like Boba Fett were given the world by Legends authors. If there's one thing I'll beg of you, anything that you can take away from my rant is that when new authors take a shot at the characters created by J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and Kathleen Kennedy, you give them a try too. Go in with an open mind. I believe that if Lucasfilm was to commit to allow other people a chance at these stories, that there will be gold in there too. Who's to say that there isn't the possibility for these characters to eventually be just as beloved? It happened for the prequels, and I dearly hope the same can happen for the sequels. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to sit through my thoughts on the topic of the sequels. Please, feel free to share your thoughts with me as well. I look forward to hearing it, and I hope that I can inspire some thought and discussion at the dinner table tonight. Have a lovely day.